every night before he goes to bed.
That would have been my next question is he still alive? So I guess,
The only one he's the
he
only
did
one that's
good.
still alive.
Yeah, well, there
That's
you
good.
go. Can't argue with that logic.
Now, I'm actually doing it every other day, and it seems to be working. I haven't got sick yet, so it seems to be working.
That's awesome. All right. So today the training is going to be on overcoming objections that we get, and I'm going to cover both sides of it. So for a lot of us, some of us are like sales call or doing cold calling, and so I was going to cover some of the most common cold calling objections that I get when you're first reaching out to a prospect. And then I will then cover the closing call objections. Like once you actually get on a Zoom call to demo everything, there's a different set of objections. Some of them kind of overlap a little bit, but there are typically some different objections that you'll get on that sales call once you get them over Zoom. And so I'm just going to share my screen and we'll go over these. If you guys have questions as I'm going over them, drop them in the Zoom chat and I'll be happy to answer them at the end. I don't think it'll take too long to go through all these objections, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end. Maybe try to keep it a little bit more sales related since that's the topic of today's call. But if you have a different question, that's okay too. Let me make you the host, Tanner, so that you can let people in. And if Tanner mutes you or whatever, don't get offended. He's just gonna mute anybody who's um, unmuted unless we're like talking to you at the end whenever we go over the questions. But let me change the host to Tanner. All right, should be good. Then do you want to say anything, Tanner, before we get into it, or
No, no, you covered everything.
okay, let's do it. All right, so first off, let's cover the cold call objections because the cold call is going to be like the initial call that you'll make. On the cold call, the goal is to get your client to book a sales call, which is where you can get face to face with them over Zoom or Google Meet or whatever. And you have like, set aside time with them to chat and pitch whatever it is you're going to pitch, which in our case, a lot of us are selling smart websites. And so that's kind of what I catered this one to, or like the website objections that we'll typically get when selling websites. So the first one is going to be we already have a website that we're happy with. And then we kind of broke this down for us. So, like, we can, a lot of times some of these are like smoke screens. They say something, but they're really meaning something else. And so that's why I created this second column here. So, like, we already have a website we're happy with. What that means is they don't think they need anything new and they assume that they're trying to replace their current site, which is true. I mean, that's the reason we're calling them. But the overcome for this is going to be something as follows. Totally understandable. We actually have a really cool system that connects into your current website and automates your lead generation while helping you rank higher on Google. Since you're happy with your current site, we can just simply improve it and plug in our system into it. Would you be available later today or tomorrow to check it out? So, cool thing about our service is we can take all the features of GoHighLevel, the automations, the lead captures, the forms, the chat widget, the calendars, and we can embed those from GoHighLevel onto any non-GoHighLevel website. And what I've found with this is it'll allow us to get through this objection and it'll let us get the call. And what happens when we get on the sales call typically after we show them an example of a website, a lot of times they'll actually like be like, "Ah, we actually do want another new website now that you've got kind of shown us everything." And so even though initially they're like, "We don't want a new website, we're happy with what we have," there's been quite a few cases where they've changed their mind once we get them on that sales call. But a lot of people are like, "Nah, we're cool with our site and their site looks good," and I agree. And so we'll just integrate HighLevel with their current site, keep their current site running with it, whether it's with WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, whatever other web designer they had it built on. And we'll just integrate GoHighLevel's automations and chat and lead captures with their current site. So anyway, that's the overcome for that one. Next one, the owner or decision maker isn't available. So you guys would probably all run into this if you've ever cold called. You'll get on the phone with a receptionist, gatekeeper, somebody that's going to be blocking you from getting in touch with whoever is the decision maker, the business owner. And so what this really means is you're speaking to someone who can't say yes. but can say no. And so, anyway, with this, we try to cater our pitch on our cold call to get to the decision maker. And what I mean by this is the overcome to this is say, no worries. Is there a better number to catch them at? Or could you book me in for a time to chat with them? Either of these two options are good for us. We either get the phone number of the decision maker and then we call the new number of the decision maker directly, or the receptionist can book them in for us. We don't want to give the receptionist an out. We don't want to give them a third option and say, or are they just not available right now? Like then the receptionist is going to go with the easiest out option. We give them two options, and usually, unless they're like a highly trained receptionist and they're trying to like just push off every salesperson, like you can usually get them to give you either one or the other of these, and either way, it's a win for us. So we can at least have a better shot at getting with the decision maker. So anyway, that's the overcome for that one. Next one, sorry, we don't have time to talk right now. This means they're busy. They're trying to brush you off to avoid the conversation. And then the overcome for this one, no worries. I've got to run in a few minutes as well. This one is like pro level overcome because you're like mirroring back to them that like I also have to run too in a few minutes. So it's like you're not the only one that's busy and can't talk right now. It's like I am too. And it makes you kind of like raise your status a little bit because it's like, I'm not you're not the only one that's busy. I'm really busy as well. And so kind of makes you look more, successful, I guess, in a way. And then stay paced, keep speaking, continue with the pitch. So no worries. I've got to run in a few minutes as well. The reason I was calling is because I built you guys a new website for your business and wanted to see if I could show it to you. And yeah, just don't take that as a no. Just take that as a all right, let me just be quick with it and continue with the pitch. So next one on cold calling. We can't afford a new website right now. So some people will just like jump straight to the gun as soon as you pitch the website, be like, oh, we can't afford that right now. That's going to also be one that you'll find on the sales call once you get to that point, which I'll cover here in a little bit. But they're assuming it's a large expense rather than an ROI driven asset. And that's kind of what their thing is. They're just thinking, oh, this is going to cost me money, and they're not seeing the benefit that it's going to bring to their business. And so from this, we're going to say totally understandable. We don't want to create another useless expense for you. Instead, we provide an asset that helps you get more clients organically, making you all a lot more money than we would ever charge you. So we want to make it sound like, hey, you're going to get an ROI on this. What you pay us, you're going to make more than that. And so all in all, it'll be a good investment for you. And so just reframing an expense as an investment is kind of the way to go with this one. And by the way, with all of these, if you can memorize these, you'll just be like a sales machine. Like any of these objections that come up, you'll be able to like have like memorized overcome for all of them. So that's what I would recommend is just like go through these, memorize them all so that like you have them like ready to go in your pocket as soon as they come up because they will come up. So next one, can you send me more info? Very annoying one because they're just like ultimately trying to get you off the phone. They're not convinced yet, and they want an easy way out. So you'd say, for sure, what type of info are you looking for exactly? Then wait for them to reply. Gotcha. Our projects are actually custom built to your business, so it's hard to give you exact info. What we can do is we can set up a quick 15, 20-minute Zoom call with you, and I'll show you better info and give you more specifics on what it would look like for you guys. Will later today or tomorrow work better for you? So just like continue to try to book them in. Um, that's a good, logical, reasonable, overcome. It's like, hey, we can't give you an exact price until we know a little bit more of like what it is that you guys do. So anyway, those are the cold calling overcomes. So those are some of the most common ones. If you have heard of any, maybe as you guys have been cold calling or any have come up, feel free to drop them in the chat too, and we can come up with a good overcome for those ones at the end of this training. But now let's jump into the sales call objections. So these are going to be once you're on a Zoom call with the client, you're face to face through video. You've already talked to them on a cold call. Now you're on the sales call and now you're pitching them, going through the, closing framework of like asking them good questions. You're showing them the smart website that you built for them, and then you're going to drop pricing at the end. And typically at the end of the sales call, whenever you show price, like your packages and how much it costs, this is where a lot of these objections will come up. Now, there are things that you can do throughout the sales call to mitigate these objections at the end so they won't come up as often, but inevitably a lot of them will still come up. And so here are the most common ones that I found. The first one, I need to think about it, right? This means they're unsure, not fully convinced, or maybe just scared of making a wrong decision. And so the overcome for this one is going to be something along these lines. Totally fair. Most clients said the same thing before coming on board with us, just so I respect your time. What part specifically do you need to think more about? Is it, and then let them talk. And if they're like, I don't know, you could just say, is it the startup cost, the monthly fee, the timeline, something else? Got it. Here's the thing, waiting doesn't really make the website or leads improve. Starting today can get you guys live in about 2 weeks. It's not an instant thing we can get set up for you. So like, let's get started today so that we can have it running in the next couple weeks and start helping you generate leads, rank higher, save time. And then the monthly part doesn't start for 30 days. So if you're serious about, going forward with this is the fastest step to get you there. So anyway, something along those lines, just ask them what it is they need to think about, and then they'll tell you, and then you can kind of overcome that. It makes it a little bit easier. I don't know how to get rid of this like red line here, Tanner. Do you know how to like erase this?
No,
I don't know if
actually,
I can.
because no one has permissions right now, and I wasn't even touching my laptop, so it's weird.
Let me see
I
if I
know how
can.
to-
There we go. I just erased it.
Okay.
All right. Next one, the price is too high, right? So at the end of the call, we drop these prices here on them, which your guys's are probably similar if you're following the model that I teach, but maybe not. But anyway, we're typically charging 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 setups, 97, 297, 697 monthlies. And so at that point, you're showing them these pricing, and then they're like, it's a little bit too expensive, price is too high. What this means, like underlying issues, they don't see the ROI yet. And, they're comparing it to like maybe the website that they currently have or have had in the past, or they just don't fully like believe that the value is there. And so you can just say something along the lines of, I hear you. Let me put it into perspective a little bit. What's your guys' average job worth? This works really well for your high ticket guys like your electricians, your plumbers, your roofers, your HVAC, guys that make, thousands of dollars per job that they do. And then they'll say, oh, my average job with HVAC pays me a few grand or whatever for an AC unit, 8 grand, whatever it is. So then you can say, so even an extra 1 to 2 jobs per month would cover the entire website, setup fee plus monthlies. And, our clients typically get more than that from, the better SEO and the automated follow-up. So you're not paying for a website, you're paying for more booked jobs, more time back, and a better presence than your competitors. So anyway, you guys can script this to be however you would, what sounds good in your voice and that kind of things. You don't have to follow this exactly, but this is a good way to overcome it is just like make a comparison of like, hey, this is how much you guys make per job. This is how much we're charging. Just an extra job or two a month would easily cover that plus more. So next one, I need to talk to my spouse or partner, kind of like the I need to think about it one, but a little bit different, and they just want validation. Maybe they're not confident enough yet to decide by themselves. So totally understand, what do you think they'll want to know before making the decision? And then they'll say like, oh, I think they would want to know this, or like, I just want to check this with them. And when they say their partner needs to like, they want to hear these things, it's actually going to project what they're thinking internally themselves. And so, let's go through those so your conversation with them is easy. We're just up to you. Would you move forward today? If yes, awesome. Let's lock in the setup so we can get started with the build. If your partner has any concerns, we can address those before the monthly even begins in the next 30 days. Or you can try to say like this is one though that can be overcome at the beginning of the call. At the beginning of the sales call, you'll typically want to ask, hey, are like all the decision makers here on this call today? If not, let's rebook, or are they available to jump on real quick with us? that's something that you can kind of avoid if you play it right at the beginning. But I know it's not always like that easy. So anyway, you can just kind of go over what the things are that they think their partner would want to know or those kinds of things. And really, like I said, it's the things that they're projecting themselves internally, like the things that they want to know more about or they're just not comfortable with. And so they're kind of blaming it on like I need to talk to my partner, but it really doesn't mean that. So next one, can you send me some more info? That was one from the cold calling as well, so pretty similar to that one. They're just not convinced yet and they want an easy way out. So you say, for sure, I can send info just so I send the right thing. What specifically do you want more info on? Kind of like we did with the cold calling one. Got it. Since the setups take about 2 weeks, how about we secure your build slot today? The monthlies won't start for the next 30 days, so there's zero pressure and we can make sure you're live as soon as possible. So, just ask them what it is they need to think about or what they're, wanting more information on. And then those are typically the things you can then address and push the sale forward. And then next one, maybe in a few months, they're just trying to like push it out, avoid the commitment right now, unsure about their financial situation, or maybe just don't see the urgency yet. And you can say something along the lines of, I get that, seasonality hits every home service business or whatever type of business they are, but your website and ranking time to gain momentum. If we start in a few months, your results can get pushed back, a few months out. If you want more customers with the busy season hitting, starting the build now puts you ahead of everyone who is waiting. And kind of a pro tip with this one where people are just trying to like push things out, or just I guess with any of these objections, you can use the, hey, we only work with one niche group per area. And so if we don't move forward with you guys today as the landscaper in Dallas, then we may end up working with another landscaper who is your competitor, and then we can't work with you because then there will be a conflict of interest. So like with any of these, that's just something that kind of came to my mind that we use quite a bit is like, hey, we only work with one landscaper per 30-mile radius. If it's not you, it might be your competitor. So that's another kind of ammunition you can use to push the sale forward quicker. And then next one, I'm not very techy. Maybe they're scared of like, because on the sales call, we'll typically tell them about like the mobile app that they can use to manage their leads and stuff. And it's really easy to use as we know, but like they don't necessarily know that and always think that. And so the overcome for this one is, that's exactly why we build these smart websites. The way that we do everything runs through one simple app on your phone. We set everything up for you guys, handle the automations, make any edits that you need each month. You don't have to touch anything technical other than the app, which is just as easy as any other mobile app on your phone. All you do is respond to the leads and book jobs. System handles the rest automatically. So we just want to make this seem like a very simple offer for them, very low effort on their part. It's going to be all the effort on us. We're the agency, we're doing it all for you. All you have to do is check your leads, check your appointments. Then the final one for the training is, what if it doesn't work? What if there's like, I don't get results? Some people will say they want like some sort of guarantee that they're going to get a certain result within a certain amount of time. And a lot of times this is just them projecting that they've been burned before by other agencies. And so for this one, you can say something like totally fair. A lot of clients come to us after paying for, pretty websites that never got them customers. Ours are built for lead generation, SEO, chat widget in the forums and capturing leads in the automated follow-up to turn leads into book jobs. You'll see activity in the app in real time, so you'll always know it's working. Another thing you can say is like, if you're going with one of our starter plans or our growth plans, we don't really guarantee anything other than we'll build you an awesome site that you're proud of and that looks good, and we won't stop building it until it's perfect, just the way you like it. And it'll save you time because of these different features like our SMS and email automations, the payment processing, calendar booking, Google reviews automation. So those are the guarantees for this plan. For the elite plan, I actually do offer a guarantee that will get the client ranked within 6 months within the top 10 on Google search and top 10 on Google Maps. And so with the elite plan, since we're doing their ongoing SEO, we can make that guarantee for them. And so anyway, if they ask like, what if it doesn't work, we can kind of like then bring up those guarantees of like, hey, for these ones, guarantees an awesome looking site and saved time. With this one, the guarantee is awesome looking site, save time plus real rankings and getting you above your competitors. So anyway, those are the most common objections you'll find for cold calling and for the sales calls and some different ones to overcome. Let me share this. I'll open this for you guys and I'll drop it here in the Zoom chat so you guys can have it. But yeah, let me stop my sharing. So hopefully there were some questions asked here while I was going through all that. Here's that Google Doc for anybody who wants it. Like I said, just memorize those things. Make sure you're like ready to be able to like spit them off as soon as you hear them come up on these sales calls. Like you don't want any hesitation. The more confident you sound when you're on those sales calls and those cold calls, the more people will trust you and just kind of feel at ease. They don't want somebody who's like stumbling over their words and that just like, reeks of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. So anyway, just memorize them as long as it takes you, you could have them memorized within a day or two and then have them for as ammunition when you're jumping on these calls. So anyway, Tanner, anything you wanted to add as we were going over that?
Yeah, I think like bottom line, if you can save them time, you can guarantee that. Like talking about guarantees, you can guarantee that you're saving them time. That's like one thing for sure. As far as guaranteeing results, if you did want to put together like a no-brainer offer, Alex Hormozy level offer, you could do something where it's like if you're not happy in 4 months or something like that, that gives enough time for SEO to hit, for one client to come in or whatever. Then maybe if you're like still worried about it, you can say, you know what, we'll pause payments month 4 until we get those through. So then there's like very low long-term risk that they're still risking in the beginning. But the intention from the beginning is to save them time and make them more money than we cost. As Jasper said, if we even get them one lead for the month or for the 6 months, it covers itself depending on what type of business it is. And then, as he mentioned too, he framed it with how much does a job cost or how much does your membership cost for this to break even? And then if you can make them more than that monthly, they'll never cancel. Essentially, if you can make them more than you cost every month, they won't cancel because it's like turning off money incoming. So that's why people stay for years fundamentally is if you make them more, they will stay because if they turn your system off, they'll make less, and that's why they stay. So that's like a with that being the intention, sales calls get a lot less stressful, especially when you have like a track record or history of making more than you cost or getting them 20 or 30 leads from local SEO, which can sometimes happen in like a week or two if they have nothing and now they have this full system set up. You'll be surprised sometimes, depending on the business, how competitive it is, how many leads can really flow in. But sometimes they're more competitive. So just be careful how you're offering that.
Thank you, Tanner. Wise words. All right, well, cool. Let's jump into a couple of the questions here. First one that I see here is from CJ. Said, here's a question I'm worried about. How should I answer when the lead says, you look like a small company. How can I know that your company will be around for a long time to support my business? Um, so one overcome for this one is like you can just agree with them, be like, you're right, like we are a small company, and if you're just getting started in your agency, just like be straight up with them. Like we are like new to this and we have only worked with a few clients so far, or whatever, yada yada yada. Because of that, we're happy to discount the setup fee or even completely waive the setup fee for you. And we can just do a month to month. And so anytime if something ever did happen, if the website went down, the software that we build them on went down for whatever reason, then we will just stop charging you the monthly and won't be you'll get the benefits while you're paying the monthly. And then if the website ever went down, it's very unlikely that Go High Level would ever go bust. And so that's a tough one. I mean, there's not really any great way to say like, oh, the software we use will never go bust and will always be around. We don't fully 100% know that because bigger, software companies have gone bust. But You can say, hey, we build our websites on a platform that has millions of users, and it's been around for 6 or 7 years now. They're a huge company, they're $1 billion tech company. So like you can kind of maybe use some of those keywords and say like, just make them feel like, hey, this is a big company. This isn't a small software that we're building these sites on. And then as well, like I said, you could always, if it's a newer customer and you are small, you kind of have to charge accordingly, right? You can't always just start out with my
Yeah.
pricing and charge a $3,000 setup fee and the 697 a month. So like waive the setup fee. That'll at least make them feel like they're not losing out on the setup fee if they ever did cancel in the future. All they're paying is a monthly. And even if they're still paying like, 200, $300 a month, still very much worth your time if you're just starting out to start building up your monthly recurring. And anyway, hopefully that helps a little bit. Did you have anything to add to that, CJ?
No, it's like a $10 million seasoning company, and they have like 40 items. And their last company failed. It was some small little thing, and they're halfway done with their Shopify site. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, wait, don't go anymore. I'll fix this because you can do the store and everything. So I was like, we can make this work. And I was supposed to meet with the CEO today, and I've been dreading that question all day today. I was like, I know he's going to ask this question. I just don't have a good answer. And I was going to go with kind of the same thing. It's like, look, but I didn't know where to go. Agents, like, hey, we have 70,000 agents and we have 2 million websites, or I just didn't really know where to go there, because it's like, they're like, what if you get hit with a bus? And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's a like reasonable question to ask, but like Go High Level is as big as any of them out there. Like I said, they have millions of users between like agency owners like us and then our clients that are using sub accounts. There's like many millions that use Go High Level. I think maybe there's even tens of millions that use it. And so it's not like a small software that's going to go bankrupt tomorrow. They're growing 1,000% yearly for the past 6 or 7 years. Like, anyway, that might put him at ease a little bit, but yeah, hopefully you can land him
yeah, just, kind of, I didn't know where to pull back and say, look, I'm using GoHighLevel on the back end. You're not going to have a problem, because I kind of want them to think, hey, come to me. It kind of seems like a big storefront, hey, this is my business. But at the end of the day, if I do get hit by a bus tomorrow, and who are they going to call?
for sure. Yeah, don't be scared to tell them that it's Go High Level. I know a lot of us feel like the reason we're white labeling it is because we want to like own it as our own software. But like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you tell them that it's Go High Level that we build all of this off of or not. They're paying us because we're the expert with it. We know how to set it up. We know how to help their business. If they signed up with their own Go High Level account, they could do that, but like they'd have to learn and go through this. I think someone else at the beginning was like they're going through this. Bob was like steep learning curve right now. It's like businesses don't want to have to go through that learning curve and learn tech, so they'd rather pay us. They kind of like the engineer of the tech that's going to run it all, set it all up for them, make sure it's getting results. And we're also the marketers too. Go High Level is great, but if you're not, don't come from have the skills to market and actually like write good copy that's going to go on the sites and write good messaging that's going to send out in these automated texts and emails once they get leads, then it's not going to convert either. So like it's great in theory. And we think like, oh, they could just go directly to High Level, but they won't. Like they'd rather pay somebody like us who knows what we're doing. So
Okay, good. That's good to hear because that was just so nerve-wracking all day for me. Thanks, Jasper.
CJ,
you
they're
bet.
they're an they're an e-commerce business, you said, or a
Uh,
local business?
so they're in seasoning, like seasonal. They make
Okay.
in my area, jambalaya is really big.
Oh, okay, okay.
Indiana. And they make all kind of jambalaya mix and crawfish boil mix and all kind of
Sick.
really popular stuff in this area. So they
Mhm.
got all these little products and they sell them volume. They're like $5 a piece, so they're not making them much, but they need to get the volume in. And the marketing is great for that. And I was just scared that they may go somewhere else, especially when I almost got them. Like today might have been the day. It was so close.
Hmm.
But I didn't get to talk to the CEO today. So we're
Are
shooting.
they using Shopify right now? They're
They,
thinking about using Shopify.
they are halfway set up on Shopify.
Okay. Yeah, only thing, if it was like e-commerce or like a national like drop shipping business or something, then for sure I would say don't use Go High Level, use Shopify because they have all the systems for the national SEO and drop shipping and all that stuff. But if it's a local business, I do think GoHighLevel is kind of better because of all the things you can do with GoHighLevel. So that could be one thing you could like pitch them to. But if they were like an e-commerce business, I almost wouldn't even pull them away from what they were doing because I want to say
Yeah,
Shopify would do
yeah,
way better than GoHighLevel, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's little seasoning packs like pepper and stuff like that. And it's all local. But like I said, they're halfway done, so I'm gonna have to offset that some way. And my idea is, hey, look, if you go with us, I'll rebuild the 42 web pages you already built, just for the standard cost. That'll be part of the setup fee. I know you already did. So that kind of evens the playing of, hey, you didn't invest all this and it went to waste. I will recreate what you've spent, so we're back at even. Now, who's the best? Is it going to be Shopify or is it going to be us?
For sure.
That's my thoughts. So,
I
any help
we
there would be appreciated.
Piece of advice for the future. I know this one kind of just came to you naturally. It sounded like you maybe had a connection with them already, but
Yep.
for outreach going forward, I would highly recommend. It's just way easier to deal with niches that are service-based businesses that don't have products that they're selling, like any physical products. Go High Level is the best platform for service-based businesses. When we start diving into e-com, there are platforms like Shopify that are better for e-com than GoHighLevel. GoHighLevel can build e-com stores now, but it's not as good as a Shopify. And at the same time, it's much more management to manage a business that has 100 different seasoning products that you have to add to the website. Then if they get a new seasoning that they just created and released, then you've got to add new products and different sizes of those products. Maybe it comes in a big bottle, small packs. Like there's a lot of different variables that you have to create and add prices to all of them. And so it's much more management than for our local, landscapers. They've got 5 different services they offer. They're not selling physical products. And so, it'll be a much easier agency, less stressful. Unless you are charging like big high ticket monthly retainers, then that's where it can make sense to do like e-commerce for businesses. Just
Mhm.
make sure you charge more to those kind of guys because it's going to be a lot more maintenance to manage the site and a way bigger setup to set it up and get all those products added to the site. So anyway, just some food for thought there.
Yeah, thanks.
Chris, you were going to add something to that?
I was just trying to use my mouse to touch my tablet and it doesn't go over there. Yeah, with Shopify, like my only like thing would just be to caution there is that if they're having someone else build it, they were probably going to have them monitor it and maintain it, which means you're going to be on the hook for a lot more work on the back end. It might be easier to just cut bait or snap into their Shopify site, like do the AI agents, do the follow up, do the CRM backend, because their CRM is garbage, right? But their ability to sell things is amazing. So just do what's good for you, but like at the end of the day, you could still get a decent client out of them, help them sell, but not necessarily have to build this Shopify site or work with it. It's a lot of work. So
Yeah, yeah.
and
We've already
that's my
discussed.
background as e-commerce. So yeah. Anyway.
I got you. Yeah, I discussed that with their sales guy, and the sales guy said he'll build out the products, and he's
Oh,
already basically paying some guy like $20 an hour to build out, college
yeah.
kid to build it out for him. So I was like, that's perfect. And
Yeah.
he's the sales guy. He wants to do the marketing side. So I was like, yeah, I can show you how to make workflows. This is going to be great. You're going to love it. And they need a CRM. So I don't know if they know Shopify even has a CRM or not, because it's a requirement for their funding. They want to double their funding from their investor. And to do that, he's like, you need a CRM. You don't even have one right now.
Mhm. I mean, that's a beautiful dovetail right there. You're like, hey, I can help you get the CRM backend so that you can get your funding, and then I will be your main resource for all that stuff moving forward. Just kind of fit your way into the little tiny crack and make yourself indispensable to them, and then help them along. So Shopify is an amazing site for selling stuff. So yeah, and that's a lot of pages. 40 plus is a lot. So yeah. Well, let us know if let me know if you need any help on the Shopify side. I'm happy to give you some suggestions on how to take that call if you need to.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Great advice, Chris. Bob had a question along with that. He says, what if they ask if you go bust, does GHL take over the file? So kind of similar to the CJ's question, but like if we as the agency owner, Bob, like don't aren't continuing our agency, Go High Level's still around though. Like, are you asking if Go High Level takes over that person's like management of the website and all that? Gotcha. It looks like you're muted, Bob, but I can answer that for sure. So no, Go High Level doesn't really take over your client for you. You can eject their sub account and basically send them into their own agency account so then they can just manage things themselves going forward. You could then refer them to another agency in this network here that we have inside of HighLevel Quest and HighLevel Vault. We've got tons of agency owners that I'm sure would gladly take them over for you, and you can actually switch sub accounts from yours over to another agency account and it keeps everything intact. And so, I mean, a worst case scenario, you could do something like that and
Mm.
reach out in the communities and be like, hey, this I'm not continuing my agency, but I have two clients that need a agency to keep managing their stuff. You could always just sub account transfer them over to somebody else in another agency. Or you could ask your client, hey, are you guys cool managing this on your own going forward in your own Go High Level account? And they say, yeah, you can, export their sub account and port it into their own agency account and still get them as an affiliate. Actually, you'd still get a 40% commission off their sub account or sorry, their agency account every month for life as a Go High Level affiliate because when you eject sub accounts, that it defaults to making them your affiliate. So anyway, couple options there.
No, that's great. Thanks.
You bet. And I think you had another question up a little bit higher. You said, what are the smart website items to send to their website provider? Embed codes for each. Are there objections from that provider to add to their existing site? Yeah, that's a good question. So the main things are going to be the embed codes. So we're going to embed a form from Go High Level, a chat widget, maybe a calendar, really just the lead captures. Those are the only things you would need to embed from Go High Level over to their, let's say they built their site on like WordPress. Then you can embed them wherever you want them to go on their WordPress site. Now, your other question was like, what if their other web designer who built their other site isn't like working with you? That's tough because like he is the one that is over that website because he initially built it for them. And so, but I've typically found it's pretty easy. Like they're willing to work with you. It's not like you're stealing their client away. It's like, hey, we're keeping your site. We just want to do more marketing for this business that you're not doing. And so, they're usually happy to like embed a quick like line of code with a form or a chat widget. Like it doesn't take but like 5 minutes to do those. If they're any, worth their salt, I guess, as a web designer, they should know exactly how to do that. But yeah, you could potentially run into an issue with that if it's a very like controlling agency that they used to work with that's like really not letting them change anything or do anything. So it's a possibility, but from my experience, it's been pretty smooth for the most part. People are willing to work with it and embed a quick code for us. So, let's see. Uh, young baby said, is that like your rap name? I don't know if you're here still. Oh, that young baby. She almost forgot. How can we avoid these? Have people who want a website? Do you want to clarify on that? I guess I don't quite understand the question. Are you
Let
here
me
with us?
let me unmute them real quick. I gotta find them. Young babies. Good name.
Hello?
There we
There you
go.
are.
Yeah, so I have people who are interested in this website, the landscaping, but I need a is there a way that I can like see other niches? Because I feel like there's better niches out there when it comes to them sites.
Are you're talking about the in our vault, in the high level vault, the niche snapshot list?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so if you're on your 30-day trial, we give you access to three of those snapshots to start. So if you have like if you've already got the landscaping one, but now you're thinking of working with like plumbers or electricians, just reach out to Tanner and he'll send you whatever other two snapshots you'd like. And then once the 30-day trial of Go High Level is over for you and you've started paying for Go High Level, then all 80 of our snapshots will unlock. But realistically, you don't need 80 snapshots. You'll pick a few of them to start with, start reaching out to those kinds of businesses. 80 is overkill. We give them as they're there if you need them. and you're working with different niches every customer you get, but like it's usually best to stick with like a few different niches, probably no more than three, and like really push for those niches. It'll just make your life as an agency owner super easy because it's just like copy and paste for every business that you work with because they're all landscapers or they're all roofers or whatever the niche is. So, but yeah, reach out to Tanner. He'll send you whatever other two snapshots that you want. And yeah, then you can kind of go from there with the new ones.
Which one do you recommend? Like what's your best selling when it came to those sites?
Oh, it's tough. I think the niche that I've worked with the most is like maybe I'm trying to think. It's maybe landscapers, but not by much. Like maybe like I've built like three landscaper sites, whereas I've built like one or two of like other niches. So it's like really not that much more that I've sold to like landscapers than other niches, but maybe, but there's no best niche. So like I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but there's no like perfect niche. All of them can be good. You can make a dent in any niche and become an authority in like, really powerful agency and whatever niche you want to sell to. And so there's a niche type of business like landscaper, and then there's also your niche offer. And so I think it's good to niche down in both, like niching down into landscapers, and then we help landscapers with smart websites. Like that's your niche offer. You don't try to sell them social media management and paid ads and all this other stuff. It's like we do websites for landscapers, and like that's your offer, and that's your niche. And anyway, that's what I'd recommend. But yeah, there's no perfect like type of business. You can make a dent and like do really well with any niche out there. Um, so anyway, I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but like they all have their pros and cons. So
Oh yeah, one more thing. I was trying to get the workflow when I did it. I didn't see the workflow, like the folder workflow you were talking about for the chat widget in the form. I didn't see it in the folder. That makes
um I have quite a few different snapshots, so I'm not sure exactly the one you're referring to, but it could.
It was a 7 hour video you made.
Oh, from my 7 hour training.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure. I'd have to check it out. If you're in the vault, it sounds like. So, but if you book one of my 9 a.m. calls that I do every day, book one of
Mhm.
those, and those are just small groups of like a few people. Then I can look at it with you, and I can help you out and make sure you get those that snapshot or that part of the snapshot.
You're having one tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll have one tomorrow, 9 a.m. my time, which is Mountain Time. That's like 11 a.m. Eastern Time. 8 a.m. Pacific. So anyway, but yeah, jump on it tomorrow and I'd be happy to help you out with it.
Thank you.
You bet. All right. Let's see. Someone said, Goody said, I saw that GHL has a new feature for gift cards. Is anyone else not seeing it? Are you saying you're not seeing it or you are seeing it? Uh,
Um, so it shows that it's inside the payment processing.
I'll be honest, I didn't know they had that feature. The
It
gift.
just came
Oh,
out
actually,
today.
oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah. But I'm not. Yeah, gift cards. It says that it's in the expiration artwork. I'm looking at the latest updates feature in GHL at the moment.
Did you turn on your labs and stuff?
I did.
'Cause sometimes it's a lab feature that you have to like toggle on. I'm looking for it right now with you as well, but
Oh, they say it's in payments.
under payments.
Yeah, but I don't know, maybe it's a $500 a month thing.
Oh no, so I found it. So if you go to your agency account,
Okay.
then go down to labs
Okay.
in the agency level first. Then
Gotcha.
go into labs. If you type in gift or gift card, you'll find it. So it'll show up just like this one. And then what you have to do is you have to activate the feature and select the sub accounts that you want it to go into. So I'm just going to select this one as a quick example. And then now I'll switch into that sub account. And now the feature should show up. Maybe you hadn't turned it on there. There it is, gift cards. So now it's showing up here under the payments tab
I
at the
see.
top. So anyway, that was probably the issue. Just if
Okay.
labs are confusing, there's like labs here in the sub account level that you have to turn on, and then in the agency account too. I'm just like, dude, just put them all in one spot. But like, anyway,
I see it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. All right. Eric Ben said, how did these objections compare to warm leads saying from Facebook ads or anything where they're coming into you? A lot less objections. Like you'll get way, way less if you're running paid ads. Because like when you get somebody through a paid ad, they're interested in what you have to offer. Like the ad, you can target specific demographics and types of people and based on their interests. And so like you're getting the cream of the crop typically with ads because those people are clicking on your stuff. You're not the one cold calling them. And so obviously all the cold calling objections will pretty much go out the door because you're not having to cold call anymore. Like you're getting the lead and then reaching out to them. They asked you, to reach out to them pretty much, or they booked a call with you. So like they're the ones um, that initiated the engagement with you, not you initiating it with them. But I'd imagine you'd get some of the same objections on these sales calls. Like once you get on a Zoom call face to face with them, you would still get some of those objections that I covered today. But like I said, you won't get them as often because these are like hot prospects. They're probably interested in working with you. They've seen your ad, clicked on it. Like they already, have at least seen your face or whatever on an ad or something. So like anyway, I'd say you would get less, but you'll still get some objections on those sales calls. But ads that are working really well, if you're thinking about it, Eric, we have some affiliates and some people in the community here that have been crushing it with Facebook ads and what they'll do. Like Eric, where are you from? Like what part of the country? Tanner, can you unmute Eric Benz real quick? There we go.
I'm in Houston.
Houston. Oh, dude, perfect. So like and a guy in our community, his name's James. James is James here. Doesn't look like it. That at least that I can see. But anyway, they're doing like local ads in like with a local landmark behind them. So like James, he's actually from Austin area. So there's like a water tower in his area, like a suburb of Austin that has like the city name on it. And he filmed like a video in front of this water tower in the area, and he just ran the ad in that local suburb of Austin. And he said, he pitched the smart websites to local businesses in the area. I don't remember what his pitch was. If you ask him, I'm sure he'd be happy to send you like the example of his ad. But he was like killing it. He was getting leads for like $10 a piece, $20 a piece, and he'd spend like $200, $300 to get one paying client, which is extremely good when the, lifetime value of a client is, $4,000 or $5,000. To spend 200 or 300 bucks to get that client is like nothing. So really good return on ad spend. And there's been guys in other parts of the country, one in South Carolina, another dude up in Canada that kind of followed along with those same kind of ads and started doing it in their local areas. Same result, just like really, really cheap leads and converting customers for like 200 to 300 bucks a pop. So like anyway, if you have money to spend, it's I think a good way to spend it right now. And I would chat with his name's James Clark. I'll send you his name. Once you get into the HighLevel Vault, James is in there. Um, and I'm sure he'd be happy to show you what like the ads look like and stuff. And then you can kind of do something similar in your area. James Clark, Calvin Bowman, and then Bram. I don't know how to spell Bram's last name. Any of those three guys, those are the three guys that are doing really well with the paid ads on Facebook right now. So I would check their stuff or message them because I personally haven't done those kind of ads. These guys just tested it out themselves and figured it out, and they're getting like booked appointments on their calendar, like multiple a day from these ads for like spending, you know, 20, 30 bucks a day. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thanks.
You bet. All right. Well, anyway, great. Thank you guys for coming. I think this was a great training. Thank you guys for your input. Looks like those were all the questions, but I guess we'll end it for today and we'll do another, well, maybe not next week, because next week, Thanksgiving. think it is, right? Yeah. So next Thursday we won't have one, but the following Thursday we'll do another training. So anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all for coming.